What's going on, everybody? This is Nick Lawson from Squad Sports, and this is big episode number 129 of your sports sponsorship tip of the week. First, would love to start out with, can you believe we're at episode 129? I mean, honestly, started this just because I had a bunch of ideas in my head that honestly some of the time at Squad I couldn't take advantage of. I don't work at a team. I work with teams, but we do digital activation. Sometimes there was these ideas that popped in and I just didn't want them to go to waste. I can't believe we're at episode 129. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, for commenting, for sharing, all of those things. I'm excited to keep going another 129 episodes. Again, I just have fun. Whether nobody watches it, a ton of people watch it. This is just fun for me. So thanks for tuning in on this. But as we get to the tip of the week for this week, and this is really kind of a mindset shift that I think is hugely valuable as we start to really understand how our partnership assets, how our inventory can help reach our sponsor goals. So this week, I want us all, we're gonna get a little bit in the clouds with this, but I think it's gonna be super valuable, especially if you have renewals coming up, especially if you have new business you're trying to close. We've talked a lot about context. Why should a sponsor, not what do they want to, why should a sponsor spend with you compared to other assets, right? Facebook ads, Google ads, doubling down on influencer, all of these things. What it really comes back down to, though, is can you build the perfect package? And we've talked about this on this podcast, this video series previously. Can you build the perfect package to get your fan from point A to point B, which point B being their goal? I've said it a ton on this, but I think that's really the piece. And really what that does is unlock creativity. So the tip of the week this week is really to think about what are the complementary assets compared to our pillar core assets that make everything make sense, right? Sometimes what we're doing is we're looking at our sponsorship assets and we're saying, hey, one of your goals is awareness, or one of your goals is to drive more traffic. Great. Here's this item, this item, this item, this item, this item. It's a menu. I've talked about this in an article. It's a menu of things. You just tell me which ones you want, and we'll go from there, right? What this does, though, is it hurts you in a lot of ways as you're talking to partners. The first thing is honestly, it's a little bit lazy, right? Again, with so many other options today, why does a brand want to come to you? They want to come to you to help solve their problem. If you came to me and said, hey, Nick, you want to build a bookshelf, I went to IKEA, I bought you a book, here are all the parts, or a bookshelf, here are all the parts, but you don't get the instructions. Maybe you get a picture at the end, but you don't get the instructions. It would take me hours. It wouldn't bring me value, right? Maybe I make the bookshelf, maybe I don't. You're making it hard for me, right? What we want to do is think about, again, in what ways do all of these assets, almost like an orchestra, right? In what ways do all of these assets come together to get a fan from point A to point B, which is their goal? So as you look through your partnership packages, think about what are some items that are complementary, right? What are some items that are core? And then craft that story around, here's why you need a rink board sign, right? Here's in the story of getting fan from point A to point B, here's why a rink board is vital or important or a complementary piece to getting that fan there. So I'll bring up an example, right? Let's say that I always love bringing this up with what we did with the Winterhawks. If you listen to the inches, you've heard this a lot, but a car brand came to us and said, hey, look, we have a goal of reaching more qualified buyers, right? And what Rich at the Winterhawks at the time could have done is just said, okay, great, qualified buyers, if they see your logo enough, they're gonna come reach out to you, right? So let's just get you on a rink board, let's get you on here, let's get you in the concourse, all of those things, right? Even if you would have just said signage in a booth, honestly, toward their goal, the signage doesn't make a ton of sense, right? Of course, you can do the slow play of awareness and engagement, right? Or just awareness and seeing that sign. But again, if we really think about their goal, they're looking to capture leads and then create spaces in which their salespeople can interact and engage with those qualified leads. So what ended up happening is we did a trivia on the scoreboard. So instead of a commercial, we did a trivia. Fans enter their email, they play, they engage, right? That was honestly the pillar asset, the core asset. And then from there, though, the beautiful thing that Rich did was he came in and said, hey, look, we have some of these other items as well. Meaning we have this corner, let's make it the Toyota corner, have a big banner, you're getting your just overall awareness. But what's gonna happen is there's gonna be these tables ringside, right? And everybody who plays trivia, we work that into a re-engagement campaign that finds, people who are most likely to be qualified for car buyers through some Facebook ads, right? Complimentary piece. Instead of just saying, hey, we're just going to slap your logo on some Facebook ads. No, we're going to run some ads to be able to engage those fans that played trivia, reconnect with them, and then give them free tickets to the Toyota corner. So again, complimentary pieces. The Toyota corner was a complimentary piece. But at the same time, it made sense toward the context, toward their overall goal to connect car buyers with these car salespeople as well. So again, as you think about the assets that you're offering to your sponsors, I really challenge you to think, hey, if this is an orchestra, who's really pushing the melody, right? Who is the most heard instrument within this piece that I'm presenting to my audience, right? Your sponsor. But also a little bit weird of an instrument, but if this bassoon is not there, there's no bass line, right? Everything falls apart. It makes sense, but it's complementary, right? Again, you need those complementary pieces. But if you come in and you don't understand that signage can be a perfect way to push toward hospitality, which reaches a goal, right? Or just digital ad posting can be a perfect way to reach those qualified buyers with an engagement piece, with a Toyota corner, that signage, right? Instead of just saying we're going to run ads for you and retarget people and all of that, all of these things start to really make sense, and that's where the value comes in. That's where when you start to go through the story and the pitch, all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I like this. This makes sense to me, right? It brings context. You're not asking me to buy a sign purely for awareness. You're asking me to buy a sign to put up into the corner for a hospitality piece because it's going to help me. It's an important piece, whether it's complimentary or core. It's an important piece to help me get that fan from point A to point B. So that's your tip of the week this week. Again, really, really think about, of all of my assets that I have, right, of all of these pieces, which ones are complementary and how can I craft a story within that? They don't all have to be kind of that core piece, but you still can sell more signage by understanding this is a complementary piece getting toward their goal instead of really focusing hard on here's just a signage, here's, we'll put your logo here, we'll put your logo there, we'll put your logo on a tweet, right? And then all of a sudden these pieces don't really make sense, right? You have to understand what's that story, what's that complementary part to it going to be. And again, it brings more value to that sign. It brings context, which brings more value. So that's your tip of the week this week. Again, look through your partnership packages, understand what your sponsor goal is, and say, hey, why is this signage in here? Is it a complementary piece? If it's not, let's make it a complementary piece. If we can't make it a complementary piece, you got to cut it. So that's your tip of the week. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Remember, keep pushing those limits within sports sponsorship.